Welcome everyone. In today's session, we will be covering all the remaining topics of the gravitation chapter as well as we will be solving some numericals from the textbook. Okay, so let's start with kinematical equations and free fall. Now here they have given the fall of an object under influence of Earth's gravitational field is called a free fall. An example they have given is stone released from a certain height. Let's understand it in details. Now we all know, right, there is this force of gravity due to Earth, right, which acts on each and every object. कोई भी object लो उस पे the force of gravity will be acting. Similarly, if I hold a stone in my hand, okay, let's just assume I'm holding a stone in my hand. So obviously this stone will be experiencing this force of gravity, right? But it is not falling down. It is not directly falling down because of this force of gravity. Why it is so? Because when I'm holding the stone in my hand, then it is balanced by a force, right? Which is applied by my hand in the opposite direction. The force due to gravity, right? The force of gravity which is due to the earth, it acts downwards. Similarly, when my hand is holding that stone, it is applying a balanced force in the opposite direction, and as a result, the stone is in rest. It is not falling downwards. But what if we release the stone from my hand? What will happen if I release that stone? If I release that stone, then obviously the balance force due to my hand on that stone will stop acting. So the only force acting on that stone will be the force of gravity, right? And as a result, this stone will fall down under that influence of gravity, correct? So whenever, I repeat, whenever an object moves or falls downwards under the influence of the force of gravity alone, right? If on an object or if an object is moving only and only because of that force of gravity alone, right, it is said to be falling freely. That means that object is falling freely, and such a fall is called as a free fall. Is this thing clear? Right? Now they have given that initial velocity is zero. Obviously, when I'm releasing the stone from my hand, am I applying any force or am I applying any velocity? No. So obviously, when I'm releasing the stone from my hand from a certain height, its initial velocity is going to be zero. But eventually, जैसे वो नीचे गिरते ही जाएगा, right? Its velocity will go on increasing due to the gravitational acceleration of the earth. Correct. So we always assume that whenever we are considering a free fall, we always take initial velocity as zero. Okay. Now this is just a general example. Now let's talk about real examples. Reality may, right? If I would have been standing on a terrace or something, right? And I'm holding a ball in my hand, right? So obviously that ball is experiencing the force of gravity as well as a balance force from my hand. But what if I release that ball from my hand? What will happen then in the actual situation, right? If I release the hand, obviously there will be this force of gravity acting on it. But will it be the only force acting on that ball falling downwards? No. There will also be a frictional force due to air. हवा तो रहेगा atmosphere में, right? So there will be this frictional force from the air itself which will try to oppose the motion of that object, right? And such force is called as buoyant force. Are you getting me? It is given in the textbook, right? We had just discussed that when a stone is falling, and if it is only influenced by the force of gravity, then only it is said to be falling freely. Correct. But if other than the force of gravity, there are also other forces acting on that particular object, right? Then we cannot say it is under free fall. I hope you are getting this, right? So when I just simply release a ball, right, in actual situation, in real life situation, right, it is not going to be falling freely. It is not going to be a free fall. I hope it is clear. So when I say about a free fall, it is only possible in vacuum, right? So true free fall only happens in vacuum, because vacuum में और कोई forces होते ही नहीं है जो apply होंगे object पे. So the only force acting on that object will be the force of gravity. So then we can say that the object is experiencing a free fall. Okay. Now, so when we say a free fall, or when we assume that the object is under a free fall, we always take that u initial velocity as 0, and we always take acceleration, right? A means acceleration, that the acceleration is equals to acceleration due to gravity. Okay. Now again this varies. If the wall is falling downwards, right, we take acceleration as positive g, that is acceleration due to gravity. Similarly, if wall is thrown upwards, right, we take acceleration as negative g. I hope it is clear. Okay, we will be seeing sums with respect to that. Okay. Now next thing that they have given is kinematical equations, right? Now it is already done in 9th standard, right? So what are the three kinematical equations that you have? Let's not see this, right? Let's first write down the three kinematical equations. So the three kinematical equations that we have, the first is v is equals to u plus at. This is the first kinematical equation. Second is s is equals to ut plus half at square. The second kinematical equation, right? And the third one is v square is equals to u square plus 2as. And this is the third kinematical equation given by Newton, right? Now, when I see the first kinematical equation, it states the relationship between velocity and time. It states the relationship between v stands for velocity, u and v stands for velocity, velocity and time. Correct? When I see the second one, second kinematical equation states relationship between displacement and time. And the third kinematical equation represents relationship between the displacement and velocity. Okay, this is just for basic clearance, right? Now next. Now when we are assuming that the object is under a free fall, if we are assuming free fall, okay, now in this three kinematical equations, right, V stands for what? Right, I'll just quickly write it. U stands for the initial velocity, right? V stands for the final velocity. We require this kinematical equations for solving our numericals, okay? S stands for the displacement, right? And then T stands for the time taken by the object to travel, okay? Now, depending on this, if you are considering a free fall, right, under free fall, we just saw that the initial velocity given by u is always equals to 0. Also, acceleration, oh, I did not mention a. A stands for acceleration, right? Initial velocity is given by meters per second, right? Meters per second. Displacement is given by meters. Time is given by seconds. Acceleration is given by meter per second square. Okay. Now here acceleration is denoted by a, but we represent when it is under free fall, acceleration will be caused due to the acceleration due to gravity, so we'll denote it by g. Okay. So now when we say this, what will happen then? Our first kinematical equation क्या है? V is equals to u plus at, right? So in that case, V will remain as it is. U will become 0 because we are considering free fall. So U will become 0. A will become G T. So what will be left with? V is equals to GT. So this becomes our first kinematical equation under free fall. Okay. Now consider the second equation. S is equals to ut plus half at square. S will remain as it is. U becomes 0 under free fall. Half A becomes G under free fall t square. So we'll be left with S is equals to half G t square. This becomes the second kinematical equation under free fall. Similarly, for the third one is V square is equals to U square plus 2AS. Correct? V square will remain as it is. Under free fall, initial velocity is 0. A is G. So we get V square is equals to 2GS. So under free fall, your third kinematical equation becomes V square is equals to 2GS. Is this thing clear? Right? So these are the three formulas you will get when the object is under a free fall. Okay? Now, for calculating, now I just told you that when a body is under a free fall, when it is falling from up in the downward direction, your A is equals to G. But when you're throwing a ball, right, when you're throwing a ball upwards, in that case, right, your A will be minus G. Always remember this. Okay? Because the velocity is going to decrease when it goes upwards for a while. We will be discussing that also. I hope this part is clear to everyone. So basically, what is a free fall? The free fall is when an object falls under the influence of Earth's gravitational field, only and only under the force of gravity, then only it is called as a free fall. Okay. Now next one. Next is gravitational potential energy. Okay. Now what is gravitational potential energy? The energy stored in an object due to the position or state is called as potential energy. Again, potential energy is done in the ninth standard already. Okay. Now we all know that energy, when whatever object we have, if the object has some stored energy into it because of its position or state, it is called as potential energy. And we denote this potential energy by the formula m into g into h, where m is the mass of that object, g is the force of gravity or acceleration due to gravity, and h is the height of the object from the surface. Right? Now, whenever I'm applying this mgh formula, right, g has to be constant. जी कांस्टेंट हुआ तो ही वो प्रॉपर रहेगा, तो ही हम लोग उसको यूज कर सकते हैं, राइट. बट व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इज विद द गिवन formula I can see कि if I keep on increasing h, right, are you getting me? If I increase the h, potential energy should also increase. If I increase the height, potential energy should also increase. But this will not be possible because of this g value. We have already seen the variations in the value of g according to the height, right? So we'll just quickly discuss it again. Now what we have discussed is, let's say this is the earth's surface, right? Now whenever the object is somewhere on the earth's surface, right, that means h ज़्यादा है नहीं, height of the object from the center of the earth is less, right? That means it is same as writing r. ठीक है, तो ग्रेविटी अराउंड कुछ तो उतना ही रहेगा, 9.8 meters per second square. Correct? But if I keep on increasing the height of the object, यहाँ पे अगर object रहेगा, तो obviously it is going away from the center. जितना distance बढ़ेगा from the center of the earth, the gravity will keep on decreasing, right? So the g value will reduce. Similarly, if I move the object little higher, again the g will reduce. Correct? We have also done that our earth is not spherical, right? So in that case, around the pole, the gravity is going to be maximum, that is 9.8 meters per second square. and around the equator it is going to be minimum, that is 9.73 meters per second square, right? So the more you will go above the earth's surface, right, the more you will go upwards, the more you will increase the height h, correct? As a result your g is going to decrease, right? The more you will increase h, the more your gravity is going to decrease. So in that case, when I say potential energy is equals to m into g into h, right, this particular formula won't work. Are you getting me? Because it not only depends upon h, it also depends upon g, because g will keep on changing with respect to h. So as a result, I won't be able to use this formula, correct? We cannot use this formula everywhere. So in that case, what we will do is, suppose, okay, I'll just erase this thing. Suppose, okay, we have earth over here, suppose, okay, and there's this object over here somewhere, okay, and the distance between them is infinity. We had just discussed, if you remember, Newton's universal law of motion, right? So what had we discussed in that? Do you remember? Do you remember the formula that we had applied on it? Newton's universal law of gravitation. It states that F is equals to G times M1 M2 upon R square. We have discussed this already, correct? It showed that the more you will increase the R, the force of attraction between the objects will go on decreasing, correct? Now similarly, if I am considering an earth and an object, and if I say that there is a distance of infinity between them, then how much force will be acting between them? How much force will be acting, right? So the whatever the force will be acting, right, between the object, it can be said as the potential energy of the same, correct? So whatever the force will be acting on this object, it will be the potential energy, but since the distance is very very large, it is infinite distance. So obviously the force will be very 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 less, negligible. Instead, what I'll be doing is I'll reduce this distance. What we will do is we will reduce the distance. So what will happen then? If I start reducing the distance of this object from the center of the earth, right, force will start acting on it, right? थोड़ा सा considerable amount of force will start acting on it, and because of that force, potential energy will also be generated on it, right? If I reduce this distance, right, a considerable amount of force will start acting on it, and as a result, I can say potential energy also starts acting on it. So for potential energy, right, we can use the formula minus of G m1 m2 upon r square. Now here in this case r plus h हम लोग use करेंगे. Why? Because again, if I'm considering this earth, right, if this is the surface of the earth, then the distance will be r. But if I keep on moving the object above the surface of the earth, accordingly the h will also vary. If it is on the surface, h will be 0. If it moves upwards, we will have some value for h, right? So this formula gives you the value of potential energy when the object is at a height of h, where r stands for the radius of the earth, h is the height of the object from the surface of the earth, m1 and m2 are the mass of the two objects. Is this thing clear? Right? So this was potential energy, gravitational potential energy. So you can see when we say mgh, again we will just quickly revise it. Whenever we say potential energy is given by mgh, the formula is applicable when h is very very small compared to r. As we increase the height, g also decreases. As a result, we cannot use this formula. So gravitational potential energy can be given by the formula minus gm earth. Okay, next. Next is expression for maximum height of an object thrown upwards. Now this is quite easy. Okay, now just understand the example given. When an object is thrown upwards, its velocity decreases, and finally at certain height it becomes zero, and after that it starts falling downwards. Okay, now before doing this, first of all, let's understand kinetic energy. Now everyone must be knowing what do we mean by kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? Now again, if I'm throwing a ball upwards, if I'm throwing a ball upwards in the air, right, my energy will be transferred into that ball. I have a ball in my hand and I throw it upwards. So obviously, whatever energy will be there in my hand, it will be transferred into that ball. And as a result, the ball will be in motion. बॉल को मैंने थ्रो किया तो वो अपवर्ड गया, मूव हुआ, right? It got into motion because of the energy transferred by my hand into the ball. So this energy gained by the ball is called as kinetic energy, right? The energy got transformed, got transferred into the ball, and ball got set into motion. So this energy gained by this ball is called as kinetic energy, and it is given by the formula half into mv square. Okay, and kinetic energy is given by joules. Is this thing clear? So what is the unit of kinetic energy? Joules. What is the formula? Half mv square, where m is the mass of the object and v is the velocity of the object. Velocity gained because of the kinetic energy. Okay. Now let's just understand the example that they had given. Okay. Again, this is our Earth, right? We are over here. If I throw this object, right, I am transferring, okay, this, I'm throwing this ball upwards, right, and I applied some 50 joules of kinetic energy. Okay, so if I applied some energy into this ball, then obviously this ball will be set into motion, so it will get thrown upwards. Now it will go upwards up to some point, and after some point it will stop, and then it will again start coming downwards, right? ये बहुत day to day example है. When you throw a ball in the air, एक point तक वो ऊपर जाएगा, उसके बाद it will start falling downwards, correct? So now up to what maximum height this ball can travel, right? Up to what maximum height this ball can travel is given by this particular equation of motion. So can you see, when an object is thrown upwards, its velocity decreases and finally at a certain height it becomes zero, right? Its velocity decreases. Initial velocity कुछ तो बहुत ज्यादा रहेगा, ठीक है, धीरे 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 जैसे वो ऊपर चला जाएगा उसका velocity कम होते जाएगा, and at some point it will stop at certain height, velocity वो पूरा का पूरा zero हो जाएगा and it will start falling downwards. So this maximum height depends upon the initial velocity. आप initially कितने velocity से throw कर रहे हो ball, the maximum height till which it can reach depends on that. If instead of 50 joules, if I would have given some 200 joules or 500 joules का energy, more initial velocity would have been set up in that particular ball, और उतना ज़्यादा height पे वो जाता, correct? Now, how do I find the maximum height? So we will be applying, or we will be considering this Newton's equation of motion. So what is Newton's third equation of motion? V square is equals to u square plus 2as. What is the equation? V square is equals to u square plus 2as, where v is the final velocity, right? U is the initial velocity A is the acceleration and F is the displacement. Okay, now डिस्प्लेसमेंट किसको बोलते हैं? जब वो टू और फ्रो जाएगा तो हम लोग डिस्प्लेसमेंट बोलते हैं, बट वो अगर वर्टिकली अपवर्ड्स या डाउनवर्ड्स होगा वी रिप्रेजेंट इट बाय height. So do not get confused. Sometimes if h is given, it is same as saying it is the displacement of that ball. Okay, now when I'm throwing the ball upwards, initial velocity कुछ तो रहेगा, but after a point, after it reaches a certain h, certain height, final velocity will be zero. So we consider that v will be zero at the maximum height. Also, acceleration will be denoted by g, that is acceleration due to gravity. And again we had discussed that if the ball is thrown upwards, right, if the ball is thrown upwards, a is denoted by negative g, correct? Now, so in that case we just substitute the values. So v square final velocity की जगह पे 0 डाल दिया. We do not know what is the initial velocity, so let's assume u. So u square, a की जगह पे g डाल दिया minus g, so it became 0 is equals to u square plus का minus हो गया, right, minus 2gs, because a की जगह पे I have substituted minus g, right? So in that case, how will it look like? You just represent it again. So it will be u square is equals to 2gs. We have just rearranged it, right? So if I want maximum height, again, since it is falling vertically up downwards, right, displacement is given by the height. So s, or the height, is given by u square upon 2g. So this is the maximum height the ball will travel. So you can see with this, higher the initial velocity, जितना ज्यादा initial velocity रहेगा उतना ज्यादा height पे वो पहुंचेगा, right? So higher the initial velocity, larger is the height reached by the object, as simple as that. Okay, और ये बहुत बेसिक एग्जांपल है अपना. जितना ज्यादा ताकत से आप बॉल ऊपर डालोगे, ऊपर थ्रो करोगे, उतना ज्यादा हाइट तक वो जाएगा. क्लियर ना? नेक्स्ट, next topic that we have is escape velocity. Okay, now what is escape velocity? The maximum velocity with which an object is thrown upwards so that it will permanently escape from Earth's gravitational force is said to be escape velocity. We will take the same example again. Okay, let me use the whiteboard, right? Same Earth surface है. I'm applying some, this is the object, right? I'm applying some 200 joules energy and I throw the ball upwards. It will be set into motion. It will travel upwards to a certain height, right? And on this object, the force of gravity is applied, is getting applied. This object is getting influenced by that force of gravity. But also I have applied some 200 joules energy into it. So the ball is balanced by another opposite force, and that is why it is going in the upward direction. It is set into motion, correct? But after some point, when the final velocity will become zero, it will start coming downwards because of this force of gravity. That means till this point at least, the force of gravity was able to influence this object. Similarly, if I would have taken this object and applied somewhere around 500 joules of energy, again it will set into motion and will be thrown upwards up to some more height, up to a more greater height, right? Again, the final velocity will become zero and then it will start falling downwards. This will keep on happening until this force of gravity is able to influence that particular object, right? Up to a certain point, right, Earth will have the capacity to influence that object with its force of gravity. But what if I apply, let's say, around 600 joules, okay, approximately some energy into the ball, and it will set into motion, it will be thrown upwards, right? It will go above the limited height that we need. मतलब एक limit तक this earth will be able to influence the object under its force of gravity, right? There will be some limit, there will be some capacity up to which this earth will be able to apply its gravitational pull, right? When you cross that particular limit, when you cross that particular capacity, right, उसके बाद earth won't be able to influence that object with its gravitational pull. And as a result, if the earth is not able to apply its gravitational pull, the force of gravity on that particular object, that object won't be get pulled downwards. उसकी वजह से क्या होगा, the stone or the ball will remain in at that particular height only. It will not come downwards. अगर वो ऑब्जेक्ट पे फोर्स ऑफ ग्रेविटी लग ही नहीं रहा तो वो नीचे आएगा ही कैसे, वो तो ऊपर ही रहेगा, राइट? So that is what we are doing now, that is escape velocity. As the word suggests, escaping the gravitational pull of the earth, escaping from that limit till which the earth is able to apply the force of gravity, correct? So escape velocity is what? Basically the maximum velocity with which the object is thrown upwards. मतलब इतना ज्यादा velocity, कितना maximum velocity you will be applying on that particular stone so that it permanently escapes the earth's gravitational force. I hope you are getting it. कितना maximum velocity में लगाओ ये ball पे so that it is thrown upwards such that it permanently escapes the gravitational force of the earth, right? And that maximum velocity is called as escape velocity. Is this thing clear? And it is represented by v escape. V matlab velocity. Is this thing clear, guys? I hope you have understood what do we mean by escape velocity, right? So that is what they have given, that when it permanently escapes the earth's gravitational force. Now this is possible, see the second point, this is possible when object reaches at infinite distance from the earth, right? ये कब possible होगा? From the earth surface, if the object reaches at a distance of infinity, right? When it reaches at an infinite distance from the earth, right? The gravitational force to the square of the distance from the earth's surface, right? F is inversely proportional to d square. तो जितना ज्यादा d बढ़ाओगे उतना ज्यादा फोर्स आपका कम होते जाएगा. So if the distance between the object and the earth is infinite, if it is infinity, right? So in that case वो gravitational force apply ही नहीं होगा, right? So in that case, how do we find the escape velocity then? Consider an object moving with a velocity equal to escape velocity. We just understood what do we mean by escape velocity. Okay, kitne maximum velocity se you have to throw that ball so that it escapes the gravitational pull of the earth for a permanent time, correct? The gravitational force on the particular object moving with escape velocity will become zero when it reaches the infinite distance, correct? We have done that already. If the we know that f is inversely proportional to d square, जितना d बढ़ेगा उतना f कम होगा. तो अगर d infinite पे है, infinite position पे है, right? तो f तो approximately zero ही हो जाएगा, right? So it will be at rest and stay over there. तो अगर कोई gravitational force ही नहीं apply होगा वो particular stone पे, वो particular object पे, तो वो कभी डाउनवर्ड्स फॉल ही नहीं होगा, वो कभी अट्रैक्ट ही नहीं होगा टुवर्ड्स अर्थ, and as a result that object will be at rest and will stay at that particular position forever. Is this thing clear? Now the next thing that we have is the value to find escape velocity. Now how do we find escape velocity? It is already given. Now we are considering an object with mass m. Okay, we are considering object with mass m. Now we are considering two situations. Okay, ये जो object है mass m का, we are considering two situations. One, the first case is when the object is on the surface of the earth, right? So if the object is on the surface of the earth, right, kinetic energy and potential energy कैसे लिखेंगे? How are we going to define kinetic energy in that case? So kinetic energy will be given by half mv square such that it should be the escape velocity. We want to find escape velocity, right? What is the value of escape velocity? So in that case, if I am finding the kinetic energy, right, gained by the object on the surface of the earth, it will be given by half mv square such that v is given to be escape velocity. Okay, what will be the potential energy? So potential energy gained by that object will be gmm upon r plus h. We already have this formula for potential energy, that is minus g. G stands for gravitational constant into m, that is mass of earth, into small m, that is mass of the object, upon r plus h, where r is the radius of the earth and h is the height of the height of the object from the surface. Now since the object is on the surface, h is going to be 0. H is going to be 0. So in that case, you are left with minus gmm upon r. Okay. So what will be the total energy gained by that object? It is given by, let's assume it to be even. So total energy by that object will be kinetic energy plus the potential energy. So that will be half mv square, half into m into escape velocity square minus gmm upon r. So this will be your even value when the object is on the surface. So total energy gained by that object. Similarly, the second situation says when you throw the ball upwards such that it is at an infinite distance from the earth. Now, second case states when the object is at an infinite distance from the earth. So in that case, infinite distance पे जाके, right, velocity becomes zero. मतलब kinetic energy तो था वो zero हो जाएगा, right? Also, we just saw that at an infinite distance, right, the force of gravitation becomes zero, right? At an infinite distance, the force of gravitation becomes zero, and as a result, the potential energy acting on it will also become zero. Or if you simply see the formula, minus gmm upon r, right? So in that case, r अगर infinite है, ये जो पूरा value है r plus h, वो अगर infinite है, correct, in that case this potential energy will also become zero. So overall energy acting on that particular E2, it will be kinetic energy plus potential energy, that is zero. Okay. Now next is from principle of conservation of energy. Now we know energy can neither be converted. Sorry, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Right. So in that case, we know both these energies are going to be equal. E1 is equals to E2. So we know E1 is half mv square minus gmm square, right? And E2 is 0. So accordingly, this is equated. And then you take this term on the right hand side. So you have half mv square is equals to gmm. Okay, I won't write, it is already given then. this is not working properly. Okay, so is equals to 2 gm upon r. This mm will get cancelled out. Can you see? Mass of the object will get cancelled out. So you'll be left with v square is equals to this 2 on the left hand side will go on the right hand side in the numerator. So 2 gm upon r, if you take square root, you will get square root of 2 gm r. Okay. So this is clear till here, that escape velocity is equals to square root of 2 into g into m upon r. Okay. Now how do we find the value? Now we already know, right? Small g, acceleration due to gravity का formula क्या है? gm upon r square, right? So can you see what is done over here? We already have this. Now what is done is, let's multiply. Okay, what I'll do is, inside the root I will multiply by r in the numerator as well as in the denominator. Then what will you get? Root of 2gm into r upon r square. Correct? Now we already know this. This is given by small g, right? So it is same as writing 2 into small g into r. What is g's value? 9.8. What is the radius of the earth? 6.4 into 10 raised to 6. So if you fill in this value, you will get v escape velocity is 11.2 kilometers per second. So this is the escape velocity. Is this thing clear? So from where do we get escape velocity? So we assume two situations: when the object of weighing mass m is on the surface of the earth and when it is at an infinite distance from the earth. We find the energies stored on that object when on the surface of the earth and when at an infinite distance, and then we equate them. Okay. Let's see the next slide. So this was the last part basically, right? So what did we do today? So we saw free fall, right? Free fall is when the object is falling downwards only and only under the influence of force of gravity, then the object is said to be under a free fall. Correct? Under a free fall, initial velocity is 0, right? And acceleration is given by g, that is acceleration due to gravity. Then we saw potential energy. We saw that potential energy's formula m into g into h is like this. Formula is not used everywhere. We cannot apply it everywhere. So as a result, we apply the formula of potential energy, that is minus g into m upon r plus h. The third that we saw was escape velocity. What is escape velocity? The maximum velocity by which you throw the stone upwards such that it escapes the gravitational pull of the earth permanently. Then that maximum velocity is said to be escape velocity. And escape velocity kitna tha? 11.2 kilometers per second. Okay. So this was it. This is all about the gravitation chapter, right? So now we will be solving the numericals. Okay. Let's now start with the numericals, right? So before moving towards the numericals, let's first list down all the formulas that are required, or all the formulae that we have seen till now. Okay. Now the first ever formula that we saw was Kepler's law, Kepler's third law, correct? So according to Kepler's third law, we have the formula that t square upon r cube is equals to k. So this is the first formula in our formula list, correct? The second formula that we saw was Newton's law, Newton's universal law of gravitation, that states F is equals to g into m1 into m2 upon d square, where g is the gravitational constant, m1 and m2 are the mass of two objects, and the d is the distance between the center of the two objects. Okay. Now the third formula is the acceleration due to gravity, right? And that is given by g is equals to, right, gm upon r square. Okay, where g is the gravitational constant, m is the mass of earth, and r is the radius of the earth. Okay. Now the next that we should see are the kinematical equations used. Now these are the three kinematical equations given by Newton, right? Newton's kinematical equations of motion, right? And then these are the kinematical equations that we got when we assumed any object under a free fall. That means taking initial velocity as 0 and acceleration is equals to g, that is acceleration due to gravity. Okay. Also we know v का unit क्या है, meters per second, right? V is given by meters per second. Initial velocity is also given by meters per second. Acceleration is given by meters per second square. Displacement is given by meters and t is given by seconds. Okay, so everyone knows this. F k to constant hai, F is given. What is the formula of F? F is force, that is Newton, right? F is given by Newton. Now G, the formula of G, the unit of G is Newton meter square plus formula Newton meter square upon kg square. Okay. Again, this small g is acceleration due to gravity. That will also be meters per second square. Okay. So these are the basic formulas that you need to know. Also, escape velocity, that is given by 11.2 kilometers per second. Okay. And also, yes, weight. How do you calculate weight? Weight is equals to mass into gravity. So these are the formulas that you require to know. Okay. Let's start with the first question. So in the textbook, it is on page number 15, question number 5, first sum, that is A. Okay. So take a note of these formulas first and then we'll start with it. So this is the first question that you can see, right? Question 5. This is question 5A. Take a screenshot of this question, or if you have your textbook, keep it with you. Right? So first question is, an object takes 5 seconds to reach the ground from a height of 5 meter on a planet. What is the value of g on the planet? Okay. So this is the question. So we'll solve. Okay. What have they given? You have an object. Okay. It is falling on the ground and it is taking 5 seconds to reach the ground. Initially, it was at a height of 5 meters. So what is the value of g on the planet? So we want to find the value of g. Okay. So this is question 5A. So what all is given to us? First of all, you have this object. This is the surface of the earth, right? It is falling towards the earth, reaching the earth. Time taken is 5 seconds. And the initial height was 5 meters. As I told you, if we are measuring the height vertically downwards or upwards, then we consider it as height, which is same as saying displacement. Okay, that is S. Now, so how do we write? So first we will be writing the given part. So how do you write the given part? So first we will be writing the given part. So what is given? Given is initial. Now I know, right? What will be the initial velocity? First of all, it is at a height of 5 meter. Okay, you are just releasing the ball. So if you are just releasing the ball, what will be the initial height? Sorry, initial velocity. So initial velocity, that is u, is going to be 0. What is the displacement? Height, or it is same as saying displacement of the object, that is given by s, that is 5 meters. Time taken to reach the planet, that is given by t, is 5 seconds. So we have all these values, right? I want to find G, right? Also, I will be now in this particular case, we are this object is experiencing a free fall because no other forces are mentioned. We want to find G, that is force of gravity, acceleration due to gravity, right? So what is to be find? To find is G. What is G's value? Correct? So how do you find? The solution is we'll have to apply one of the kinetic equations. Correct? Now for that we are first assuming that the object is under a free fall. So if object is under a free fall, or if you're not even considering this, right, we know the kinematical equations. So कौन तीन kinematical equations है, उसमें से कौन सा equation can we use? Right now we have U, we have S and we have T. ठीक है? So can we use S is equals to ut plus half at square, right? So I will use S is equals to ut plus half at square. So this is the formula that I will use. S is given, that is 5. I know S is 5. Initial velocity is 0 times t. T is given to be as 5, right? Plus half into A is taken as G. We know A को कैसे replace करेंगे? A is taken as G, correct? Into t square is 5 square. Correct? So this will be 5 is equals to 0, right? Plus 5 square will be 25G whole upon 2. Correct? Or I just write it as half into G into 25. Okay? So 0 is gone. So we are left with 5 is equals to half into, okay. If you just rearrange, you will get 5 2s are 10 is equals to 25G. So G will be equals to 10 upon 25. Correct? That is same as writing 2 upon 5, which is same as writing 0.4. It is acceleration due to gravity, so the unit is going to be meters per second square. Is this thing clear? So this is the first question. So that is why you should know the list of formulas, right? You should know those kinematical equations. Okay? And which kinematical equation is to be used, you will understand for after you write down the given data. आपके पास क्या क्या available है? Obviously, if I want to use one equation, right? तो वो one equation solve करने के लिए सिर्फ एक ही unknown variable रहना चाहिए. You cannot take any such kinematical equation after such that after substituting the given data, you will be left with one, two, or more unknown variables. Then you will not be able to solve it. Okay. Now let's take the second one. Let's see the second question. Second question states, the radius of planet A is half the radius of planet B. If the mass of A is ma, what must be the mass of B so that the value of G on B is half that of its value on A? Okay, now in this case, you will have to write down the given data properly. So we are doing the second question now. So what is the given data given? Right? In the given data, we have a planet A and a planet B. So we have two planets. One is planet A, right? And the other is planet. We have a planet A and the other is a planet B. Such that the radius of planet A is half the radius of planet B. So if I consider the radius, this is planet B, this is planet A. If I consider the radius of planet B as R, then the radius of planet A is half that of B. So it will be R by 2. Is this thing clear? The radius will be R by 2. The next that they have given is mass of planet A is ma. Mass of planet A is given to be as ma. let's assume let's assume mass of planet B as mb. Okay, we are still just writing down the given data. Okay, what must be the mass of B so that the value of G on B, the value of G on B is half that of its value on A. Okay, so the acceleration due to gravity acting on planet A, let's say the value is G. So on planet B, this acceleration due to gravity is half of that of A. So for planet B, the acceleration due to gravity is, let's say, G by 2. I hope it is clear. Okay, this G is G and here it is G by 2. Clear enough? Now how do we solve it? What do we want to find? We have to find mass of B. So what we'll do is we'll consider two different calculations for planet A and planet B separately. Okay. So for planet A, again I'll write down the given data. What is the radius for planet A? For planet A, radius is r by 2. Correct? What is the mass? Mass is m times A. Okay. What is mass? Mass is ma. Okay. Now, for A, acceleration due to gravity for planet A is how much? G. Okay. Now with this, I know the formula for acceleration due to gravity. What is it? G is equals to capital G into m upon r square. Right? This is the formula for acceleration due to gravity. Now if I consider planet A, right? So it will be G of A and RA, correct? So now just substitute the values. What is gravity, acceleration due to gravity on planet A? We have already taken it as G. So that is G. So I'll use another color. So that is G. Okay. Now, what is, so this will remain as it is. This is universal constant. This is MA, right? And what is the radius for planet A? It is R by 2 the whole square. Correct? So G will be what? G upon MA upon R square by 4. Right? So that will become, I'll just write down here, G is equals to GMA upon, this 4 will go upward, so that will become 4 into R square. So this will be for planet A. As simple as that. I did not do anything. I have just substituted the values. Now similarly for B, let's understand for B. Okay. Same thing we will write. What is the radius for planet B? It is R. What is the mass for planet B? We are taking it as mb. What is the acceleration due to gravity for planet B? It is G by 2. So what will be the formula? What is the formula for acceleration due to gravity? Gb is equals to G times mb upon rb square. So again substitute the values, right? So in that case you will have Gb is G by 2. What is the value for gravity? G by 2. G is gravitational constant mb upon r square, right? So G upon 2 is equals to G mb upon r square, right? So if I write this properly, it will be G is equals to 2 times, right? This G will go over that side. G mb upon r square. Now for both the planets we know gravity will be same, correct? So you can see G and G. This G and this G will be same. So let's consider this as first and this as second. So equating 1 and 2, right? So if I equate 1 and 2, so equating 1 and 2, what will you get? Right? 2 G M B upon R square. Since I want MB's value, I'll take it on the left hand side. Okay. and 4 times GMA upon R square. You can see we have just equated the first and second one because left hand sides are same in both the equations, right? So this G and G will get cancelled out. Gravitational constant hai, the value remains same throughout, right? This R square will get cancelled out. So you are left with 2 times mv is equals to 4 times ma. So what is the mass of planet B? It is 4 by 2 ma. That is mv is equals to 2 times ma. ये कट हो जाएगा, right? So we have got the answer that mass of planet B is 2 times mass of planet A. Okay. So this is your solution. I hope it is clear. So again, we have used another formula from the list of formulas, that is for acceleration due to gravity, Gm upon R square. Okay. So this was the second numerical. Let's see the third one now. So this is question 5th C. Okay. The mass and weight of an object on earth are 5 kg and 49 Newton respectively. Again we have done this. Mass जो होता है वो constant होता है, right? The value of mass never changes. Mass remains as it is. तो mass आपका जो अर्थ पे है वही आपका मून पे भी होगा और वही आपका कोई भी प्लैनेट पे होगा. Mass never changes, but weight changes. वेट क्यों चेंज होता है? बिकॉज इट रिक्वायर्स जी का वैल्यू एंड जी वैल्यू चेंजेस, इट वैरीज अकॉर्डिंग टू द हाइट और अकॉर्डिंग टू द surface or according to the depth and so on, right? So this 5 kg is going to remain throughout, it is going to remain same throughout, and this weight may change, okay, according to the value of g. So on earth mass is given to be 5 kgs and weight is given to be 49 newtons. What will be their values on the moon, right? Assume, so what will be the value of mass on the moon, what will be the value of the weight on the moon? Assume that the acceleration due to gravity on the moon is 1/6 of that on the earth. Okay, now let's solve this question. Let's see the next question, that is question 5c. Okay, now they have given mass and weight of an object. So on earth what is the mass? That is given by m. Mass is given to be as 5 kg, right? What is the weight, right? Let's take it as w. The weight is given to be as 49 newtons. Okay, now how do we solve this? Now we know the formula of weight. What is the formula of weight? Mass into gravity. So on earth we already know the weight, that is 49 newtons. What is the mass? 5 kg. So we can find g. So g will be 49 upon 5. That is 9.8 meters per second square. So we have got the value of g, that is 9.8 meters second square. Okay. Now they have given that this value of g, right? Gravity on moon, value of g on moon is 1/6 of that on the earth. Is 1/6 of that on the earth. It is given in the question, correct? So we know that g on earth is 9.8. We have just found out it is 9.8 meters per second square, correct? So value of g on moon will be how much? It is approximately 1.64 meters per second square. I just take 1.633 meters per second square. Is this thing clear? So I have got value of g. Now what is asked? In the question they have asked to find what, so on moon what will be the mass? So on moon what will be the mass? As again mass never changes. जो earth पे mass था वही moon पे भी mass होगा. So in that case if 5 kg was the mass on earth, on the moon mass is going to be 5 kgs only. So the mass on moon is 5 kgs. We have got one of the answers, right? Now how do I find weight of that object on the moon? So weight is m into g. M I know is 5 and G I know is 1.633 according to the moon we wanted, right? So weight is equals to 5 into 1.63 karoge, so you will get 8.165 newtons. So approximately I can write it as 8.17 newtons. Okay, so this is the weight. So I have got the second answer also. So this was very easy, correct? We have just applied one formula, that is weight is equals to mass into acceleration due to gravity. That is it. Okay. So this was very easy. Let's see the next question. This is question D. Okay. An object thrown vertically upwards reaches a height of 500 meters. What was its initial velocity? How long will the object take to come back to the earth? So when I assume this, how long the object, that means I have to find time, t, the value of t while going upwards and while going downwards, total time taken by the object to reach the earth, right? And we have to assume g is equals to 10 meters per second square. So this is our question 5D. Okay. Now they have said an object is thrown vertically upwards. So if I am throwing the object vertically upwards, let's say this is the surface, I'm throwing the ball vertically up. Okay, sorry, I'm throwing it upwards, right? So in that case, I do not know what is the initial velocity with which I'm throwing the ball upwards, right? I do not know the time it will take. Let's say the time taken by it is t1 to reach at the top, right? At to reach the height. So I do not know what is the time taken to reach at the given height, right? So how much they have given? It reaches a height of 500 meter. So I know it reaches a height of, I'll write height is 500 meters. 500 meters के meters तक जाने के बाद it will stop, right? That means it, at that time, at that height, velocity, final velocity will be 0. And after that, it will start falling downwards again. First, it will go upwards and then it will start falling downwards. So again, in that case, it will take some time t2, right? And in that case, right, I have to find out the total time taken by the ball to go upwards and then to return back on the earth, as well as the initial velocity. Okay. So for that, I will consider two cases. The first case is will be when the ball is thrown upwards, and the second case will be when the ball is coming downwards. Right? So for the first case, when the object is thrown, when the object is thrown vertically upwards. Okay. So when the object is thrown vertically upwards, do we know the initial velocity? No, I will consider u1. Okay, I do not know the initial velocity. Do I know the initial height or the displacement? Yes, that is 500 meters. Okay. Do I know the final velocity? Yes. After it reaches the height of 500 meter, it will stop. That is the initial, the final velocity at that point will become 0, right? Do we know acceleration due to gravity? Yes. If the ball is thrown vertically upwards, acceleration due to gravity acting on it will be negative, right? And it is given to be as 10 meters per second square. It is given in the data, it is given in the question itself, but it will be negative. Is this thing clear? Now I will have to, since I am using U, S, V, G, T, all these things, right? I need to use Newton's equation of motion, kinematical equations. So which equation can we use? We can use the equation. So we can write from Newton's equation of motion, right? V square is equals to U square plus 2AS. I can use this, right? I can use this because I know V, that is 0. I know I want to find U. I know A and I know S. So in that case, it will be easier for me to find U. So simply substitute the values now. Okay. So in that case, I know V is 0. So ये हो जाएगा 0. Right? U square is to be found. I'll just write U1. Okay. So I'll just write. Let I use a pencil. That is V1 square, U1 square plus 2, right? G1 into S1. Since we are talking about the first case, V1 square will be 0, U1 is to be found 2, G1 is minus 10 and S is 500. Correct? So you will get 0, or I'll just like this as it 0 is equals to U1 square minus, right? ये क्या हो जाएगा? 10 into 2 is 20, 20 into 5 is 1000, 10,000, correct? So in that it will become 10,000. So U1 square is equals to 10,000. So what will be U's value? That is U1 value. So U1 is equals to square root of 10,000. So U1 is equals to how much? 100. Initial velocity है तो unit will be meters per second. So what is the initial velocity with which the ball is thrown upwards? That is 100 meters per second. Now once I have got U1, I need to find what is the time taken for the ball to reach the height of 500 meters. So which kinematical equation can we use? We can use V is equals to U plus AT. This is quite easier. So V1 is equals to U1 plus A1 T1. Again, V1 is 0. U1 we have just got, that is 100. Now A1 के बदले I will be using G's value. Right? This is basically G1. G1 is minus 10. I need to find what is T1. Correct? So this will be 10T is equals to 100. So T will be 100 by 10. Right? So we got T1 is equals to 10 seconds. So what is the time taken by the ball to reach a height of 500 meters? That is 10 seconds with the initial velocity of 100 meters per second square. Again, we have done nothing different. We have simply used the kinematical equations, that is it. And with that, we have got the two values. Now, I want T2. I have to find T2 also. Why? Because I want to find the time taken by the object to come back to the earth. राइट ऊपर फेंकने के बाद वापस नीचे अर्थ तक पहुंचने के लिए उसको कितना टाइम लगता है, दैट इज आस्क्ड. सो आई नीड टू कैलकुलेट दिस T2 also. Correct? So for that, now I will be considering the second case, right? That is when the object comes downward. When the object comes vertically downwards. So in that case, it will become, right? The next thing that we will see is when the object comes downwards. Okay. Now in that case, if the object is coming downwards, in the second case, okay. If the object is coming downwards, then what are we going to take? So when the object is coming downwards, in that case, जो अपना final velocity था, okay, over there, here is the ball, and now it starts falling downwards. So now when it starts falling downwards, the initial velocity that you will have will be 0. Correct? It will be traveling the same height, that is S is equals to 500 meters, and we have to find the time taken will be how much, correct? So in that case, if the object is coming downwards, it will be under free fall. So I'll say initial velocity, that is u2. Initial velocity is going to be 0, right? And your g, your a is going to be g, that is going to be positive 10 meters per second square, correct? We will be having height travel, that is the same thing, s2, that will be 500 meters, correct? Now which I can use, s दिया है, a पता है, u पता है, मुझे सिर्फ t फाइंड करना है, right? So in that case, let's assume this is u2, this is g2, s2, okay? So in that case, I can apply the kinematical equation s is equals to ut plus half at square, right? S2, it will become S2, U2 T2 plus half G2 T2 square, since we are considering the second case. So for the second case, when the object is falling downwards, it will travel the same height, that is 500 meters. U2 is 0, so the whole term will become 0. Half into 10, G2 is 10, T2 is to be found, correct? So this will be 500 is equals to 10 by 2 T2 square, right? So that will be 500 is equals to, this will 2 ones are 2, 5s are 5t square, right? So T2 square will be 500 upon 5, that is 100. So T2 is equals to root of 100. So I have got that T2 is 10 seconds, right? So I've got T2 also as 10 seconds. Again, we have just used one of the kinematical equations and just substituted the values, correct? So in that case, total time taken, right? Total time taken by the object to reach the earth will be T1 plus T2, and that is 10 plus 10, that is equals to 20 seconds. So 20 seconds is the answer. And initial velocity by which the ball is thrown upwards is 100 meters per second square. Okay, so this is the answer for your fourth question, that is of question D. Let's move on to the next question, that is question 5E. A ball falls off a table and reaches the ground in 1 second. Assuming g is equals to 10 meters per second square, calculate its speed on reaching the ground and the height of the table. Okay, let's understand this by drawing a small diagram. So we are doing question 5E. Okay, so they have said we have a table, right? We have a table, right? And there's a ball on that table which falls off on the ground, right? And to reach the ground, it takes 1 second. Okay, and also since it is falling downwards, right? Force of gravity will be acting on it, and in the question they have given that g is equals to 10 meters per second square. Now how do we solve this? Okay, so in the given, obviously if the ball is falling downwards and no other forces are mentioned, we will assume that the ball is under a free fall. And if the ball is under a free fall, right, in that case, initial velocity is going to be 0, right? Since it is falling downwards, force of gravity will be positive, that is 10 meters per second square, correct? And t is given to be as 1 second, right? So g is 10 meters per second square positive, t is given to be as 1 second. What is to be found? We have to find what is the final velocity of the ball when it reaches the ground, that is v, right, given to be in meters per second. And what is the height of the table? Now, how do we calculate the height of the table, right? Isn't it same as the displacement traveled by that ball, right, up to the ground? जितना ball ground तक travel करेगा उतना ही table का height रहेगा. Can I say it is same as finding S? Okay. So now, how do we find it? Obviously, what all values do we have? We have G, we have G, T. Okay, and then V and S are to be found. So we'll be using one of the kinematical equations, right? So the first kinematical equation that we can use is, how do we solve? We can use V is equals to U plus AT. Okay, so V is equals to, here the initial velocity is 0, right? A, acceleration is same as writing acceleration due to gravity, that is G into T, right? V is to be found, 0 will become 0. G is given to be as 10 meters per second square and time is 1, right? So V will be 10 meters per second. So this is the final velocity with which the ball reaches the ground. Okay. Now the second that we have to solve is for S. Now for solving S, you can use either of the remaining two kinematical equations. Okay. So the one I'll be using is V square is equals to U square plus 2S, 2AS. You can use the other one also, that is S is equals to UT plus half AT square. आप वो भी use कर सकते हो. Now I know what is V's value, that is 10 square, U is 0, A is same as writing acceleration due to gravity, that is 10, S is to be found, correct? So this becomes 100 is equals to 0 plus 20S. 100 is equals to 20S. So S is equals to 100 upon 20, that is 5. So I have got that S is equals to 5 meters. So that means you can write that final velocity is 10 meters per second square and the height of the table, right? Height of the table is 5 meters. Is this thing clear? Let's move on to the next question. That is the fifth question. Okay. A ball falls off a table and reaches the ground in 1 second. Assuming G is equals to 10 meters per second square, calculate its speed on reaching the ground and the height of the table. So this is the question. Okay. Now we see that reading the question, we can conclude that if the ball is falling off a table, that means it is under a free fall. That means if I'm considering free fall, right, initial velocity is going to be 0. Also the ball is falling downwards. So G jo hoga, acceleration due to gravity, it is going to be positive, right? So let's just draw a little diagram, a small diagram, so that you understand it in a better way, right? So we are solving question 5th, part E, right? So what do we have? We have a table basically, right? So we have this table and on the table we have this particular ball and this ball is falling downwards, right? So the time it takes to reach the ground is 1 second. Again, we are considering a free fall, right? First of all, given data, I'm considering free fall, right? So in that case, initial velocity will be 0. Since the ball is falling downwards, it is acted upon by acceleration due to gravity. So it will be positive. So G is what? G is given to be as 10 meters per second square. Time taken to reach the ground is given to be as 1 second. Correct? What else is asked? So to find, what have they asked to find? They have asked the final velocity. That means they have asked what is V, as well as they have asked what is the height. That means the small, or I can say displacement. Correct? So how do we solve this? So let's take solution. Now again, what all values do I know? I know U, I know G, I know T. B and S are to be found. So obviously we are going to use one of the kinematical equations, right? So in that case, which kinematical equation are you going to use? Can we just use the first one, V is equals to U plus AT according to Newton's law of motion? Correct. V is equals to U plus AT. Let's just substitute the values. So in that case, right, if I substitute the values, I do not know what is V's value. Correct. U is given to be as 0. A के बदले भी substitute G. Correct. So V is equals to G's value is 10, right, into 1. So I can see V is what? V is 10 meters per second square. So we have got the final velocity. Now I know V also. I want to find S. S find करना है तो I can either use the second one or the third kinematical equation. So in that case, if I use, you can use either of them. Okay, कोई भी आप use कर सकते हो, right? Again, when I say S, when I say height of the table, it is the same thing as saying the amount by which the ball is displaced. Correct. So in that case, I will take V square is equals to U square plus 2AS. V square to mila hai, that is 10 square. U square is 0 plus 2 times G into S. 10 square is 100, right? Next is 2 times G is 10. S is to be found, right? So 100, right? So it will be 100 upon 2 into 10 is equals to S. So how much do you get? 100 upon 20. So S is equals to 5 meters. 21 are 20, 5 are. So what? How much is the displacement or how much is the height of the table? Height of the table is 5 meters and final velocity is 10 meters per second square. Again, we have only used the kinematical equations and substituted our values. That is it. Okay, so you have to understand the given data, what all you have to find, and then accordingly you have to choose the given formula from the list of the formulas. Okay, we'll see the next question now. Next question says the masses of the earth and moon are 6 into 10 raised to 24 kgs and 7.4 into 10 raised to 22 kgs respectively. The distance between them is 3.84 into 10 raised to 5 kilometers. Calculate the gravitational force of attraction between the two. Okay, now we want to find the gravitational force of attraction. We know the formula. F is equals to G into M1 into M2 upon R square, correct? So all the values are given. We have to find F, right? So we are doing question 5th, F question, right? Now what all is given? Masses are given. Mass of earth is given, right? That is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kgs, right? Mass of the moon is given, that is 7.4 into 10 raised to 22 kgs, correct? What else is given? Gravitational constant is given, that is 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square upon kg square, right? And distance between the two distance between the two objects is given, that is between earth and moon is given, right? So distance between them is 3.84 into 10 raised to 5 kilometers. Now guys, pay attention. The formula that we have, the formula that we use to find gravitational force, right? G into M1 into M2 upon D square, right? So यहाँ पे the masses that we take are always in kgs, right? F is in Newton. Distance between the two objects that we take is always in meters, right? Right now, in the given data, the distance between the two, that is Earth and Moon, is given to be in kilometers. So I have to convert them. So it will become 3.84 into 10 raised to 8. ये kilometers, ये 10 raised to 5 plus ये 10 raised to 8, 3, right? To convert it into meters, which is 3.84 into 10 raised to 8 meters. So now all the values that are required are given. Substitute your values, you just have to find F. right? So G's value is given, that is 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11, right? M1 is same as saying mass of earth, that is 6 into 10 raised to 24. Mass of moon is 7.4 into 10 raised to 22. The whole upon distance square. How much is distance? 3.84 into 10 raised to 8 into 3.84 into 10 raised to 8. I have multiplied it twice. Now you can see there's so much of calculation. It is going to be a very lengthy calculation, okay? So take all the tens together and all the other values together. So 6.7 into 6 into 7.4 upon 3.84 into 3.84 into 10 raised to minus 11, 10 raised to 24, 10 raised to 22 upon 10 raised to 8 into 10 raised to 8. Correct? So if you solve this now, guys, you'll have to be careful with respect to this calculation. You'll have to practice a lot, right? So on solving this particular part, the final value that we get is 20.17. And on solving this part, how do we solve this part? It is basically going to be 10 raised to minus 11 plus 24 plus 22 upon 10 raised to 8 plus 8. I'm just solving this part, okay? इसका आगे क्या होगा? This will be, right? Same as writing 10. Now this 8 plus 8 in the denominator will become 16. So this is same as writing 10 raised to minus 11 plus 24 plus 22, right? Minus 8 minus 8. So on solving that, you get 10 raised to 19, right? It is basically minus 11 plus 24 plus 22 minus 8 minus 8. ये पूरा 10 का values रहेगा. You get this value, right? We'll make it, we'll just shift the decimal to the left. So it will become 2.017 into 10 into 10 raised to 19, which is same as writing 2, right? 2.017 into 10 raised to 20. So what is going to be the final answer? 2.017 into 10 raised to 20 newtons. So this is your final answer. Okay. Now you have to be very careful with this calculation. You have to multiply it properly. You have to divide it properly. Okay. You'll have to practice a lot if you want to solve this type of questions. Let's see the next one now. So we are on the last question now. Question 5th G, right? The mass of the earth is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kgs. The distance between the earth and the sun is 1.5 into 10 raised to 11 meters. Again, right? What all is given? Mass of earth is given, that is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kgs. Distance is given, 1.5 into 10 raised to 11 meters. Gravitational force is given now, that is F. So we have to find what is the mass of sun, and gravitational constant is also given. We know the formula already, F into G m1 m2 upon d square. This is the formula. F is given, G is given, one of the masses is given, and distance is given, right? You have to find the mass of the second object. Now in this case the objects are earth and sun. Earth का mass दिया है, sun का find करना है, right? So it is as simple as that. You just have to substitute the values in the given formula. So we are on question 5th, question G, right? So we'll write all the given data. Mass of earth is given, that is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kgs, right? Distance between the earth and sun is given, that is 1.5 into 10 raised to 11 meters. It is already in meters now. Gravitational force between the two is given, that is 3.5 into 10 raised to 22 newtons. Gravitational constant is given, that is 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11 newton meter square upon kg square. Okay, what do we have to find? We have to find mass of the earth. So in that case, you can directly use the formula F according to Newton's universal law of gravitation, G me into ms, mass of sun, upon distance square, right? So if we just rearrange the formula, right, क्या हो जाएगा? ms is equals to, right, F into distance square upon G into mass of earth. Substitute your values. So mass of sun is equals to, F is given to be 3.5 into 10 raised to 22. D square दिया है 1.5 into 10 raised to 11 square upon G is 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11, and mass of earth is how much? Mass of earth is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kgs. Again, take all the tens together and all the other values together. Okay, so how will you do it? So it will be 3.5 into 1.5 into 1.5, क्योंकि वो स्क्वायर में है, right? Upon 6.7 into 6, and over here we will have 10 raised to 22 into 10. Okay, right? So 10 raised to 22 into 10 raised to 11. I'll write it over here, into 10 raised to 11 upon 10 raised to minus 11 into 10 raised to 24. Okay, again you will have to solve this carefully, right? I know what is 1.5 into 1.5, so 3.5 into 2.25 upon 6.7 into 6, right? और ये पार्ट क्या हो जाएगा? into 10 raised to 22 plus 11 upon 10 raised to minus 11 plus 24, correct? So if you solve this part, it will become 0.1957. Again, this is going to be a lengthy calculation. Okay, और ये क्या हो जाएगा? This part, right, it will become 10 raised to 44 upon 10 raised to 30. It is same as writing 0.1957 into 10 raised to 31. Okay, so if I just simply round it off, so it will become 0.196, or I just shift the decimal. I'll shift the decimal to the right, so it will become 1 point, and I'll round this off 1.957, or I'll just writing it. So what is the answer that you get? Mass of the sun is 1.96 into 10 raised to 30 kgs, right? So we just wrote all the data, and then we just applied the formula of Newton's law of gravitation, right? F is equals to G m1 m2 upon d square. We substituted the values and then we found the answer. Okay, so knowing those formulas are very important while solving these numericals. Okay, so we are done with all the numericals given in the textbook, all the 5 ones, right? So this was the gravitation chapter. I hope you all have understood it very well. If you have any doubts, you can anytime reach us to us, right? Thank you, everyone.